Katie, bar the door and lock up your women and children. The report that names names and shows the documents. From top to bottom, the city of Hamilton, Ohio is as dirty as the diapers in the Alzheimer's ward at Bradford Place. We begin with an illegal traffic stop by Officer Joshua Crowthers of the Hamilton, Ohio Police Department and a public information request. A public information request that was not forwarded to the city clerk for review, as the city policy states. No, according to the records office of the Hamilton Police Department. This request went straight to the chief because large requests always go straight to the chief due to normally coming from the media. Or at least that is how it was under the last chief's regime. Even City Clerk Daniel Tidyman admitted to not receiving this public information request for review the way the law and the city policy states weeks after the initial request. However, the contact officer given to this reporter at the Hamilton Police Department was Lieutenant Eric Taylor. What a fucking slimeball this guy is. You see, folks, Lieutenant Taylor likes to have his servant, Sergeant Mike Thacker, not only show the dash camera of the incident, but also hand out a copy of this video, which was evidence in a pending criminal court case in the Hamilton Municipal Court. Talk about unethical behavior, it gets lots better. This piece of shit lieutenant sent emails to the records office telling them not to give this reporter any information, unless it was approved by him. It's also important to note, this bad lieutenant isn't even over the record department. All the time telling his co-workers this reporter is trying to bypass the discovery of the court, knowing he has already given me a copy of the incident as a favor to a prior law enforcement officer, which apparently makes it right. The action of this department and their character are as dirty as this lieutenant's yellow-ass teeth. This genius made it all the way to lieutenant and has no clue if the village of New Miami even had a police department. I guess the Hamilton police promote base on DEI because if this is the best they have, everyone is really fucked. So if you have a complaint on the chief of police for obviously not forwarding a public information request to the city clerk, but instead tried to cover up an illegal traffic stop and arrest by one of his officers, who are you going to call? No, it's not Ghostbusters. It's this dipshit who used to be the chief of police, Scott Scramese, apparently an untouchable in the city of Hamilton. This piece of shit is the public safety director in Hamilton, Ohio, and also voted the 2024 biggest disgrace to the Italian race by the Godfather's ganja. You see this scum pile of excrement exactly when informed of what had happened with the chief of police and city clerk. Instead of listening, he assured this reporter things just don't happen like that at the police department because he was the chief of police and knows how things operate. Well, apparently Mr. Scramese doesn't know diddly shit because this is exactly what happened. This guy's ego is almost as big as the penis on the horse, advertising Trader's World on 75 in Monroe. But more about Mr. Scramese and things happening in Warren County later. So who do you go to when you have a complaint on the chief of police, a lieutenant, an officer, and know-it-all public safety director? If you guessed the assistant chief of police, congratulations. You are just as fucked up as the city of Hamilton. Assistant Chief Chenoweth, now acting chief, received a formal written complaint on his boss's boss, a lieutenant, the records office, and an officer. This written complaint laid out clearly documented violations, completely with support references from city and police policy, showing blatant violation of unethical, departmental, and even criminal behavior. This complaint, done by a subordinate on two supervisors, was clearly just a bullshit cover to hold this reporter went away after this, an unfounding result on a complaint. Officer Crowthers left the Hamilton police for the Franklin, Ohio police, and the bullshit trumped-up charges were changed to a non-related offense just to have the victim in this case plead guilty to something in case they wish to sue the city at a later date. You see, corrupt judges cover up for corrupt prosecutors who cover up for corrupt cops. The wheel goes round and everyone gets paid by the taxes they raise. Since the First Amendment grants this reporter the right to protest his government. That's just what he did, creating content to protest the city, its police department, and everything and everyone associated with a corrupt government in Hamilton, Ohio. With over 1,000 followers and millions of views on content that if it would have been made about state officials or federal officials, there would have been absolutely no problem because this is protected speech under the First Amendment. If government only allowed the speech it agreed with, it would be a regime, not a free society, but the city of Hamilton, Ohio could really give two shits about your First Amendment rights or any other rights you have, as this reporter will continue to show. This reporter, who was a former deputy sheriff in Warren County, Ohio, received a phone call from Acting Major Tinch of the Warren County Sheriff Office. During this call, I was encouraged to take down my disparaging Hamilton police content. As the Warren County Sheriff's Office was contacted from someone in Hamilton, Ohio, in Butler County to contact me and have my content taken off social media. This also came with the encouragement from the city of Hamilton. They were building a civil and criminal case against me, and they would file charges if this content was not deleted. So a blatant threat was made by the city of Hamilton and carried out by the Warren County Sheriff Office. Honestly, folks, what kind of mafia blackhand shit is this? I guess you have to know how organized crime works in order to know how to stop it. Needless to say, after questioning several people in the city of Hamilton government about who placed this call to have me threatened, you see, cowards never want to give their names. This reporter was assured no call was made and absolutely no one knew who would make a call like that. Lieutenant Fryman of the Hamilton Police was made aware of these threats and who made them from the city to Warren County. Lieutenant Fryman is now Assistant Chief Fryman, go figure, and who did make these threats of charges and civil actions if my content was not taken off social media, if I continue to exercise my right to protest my government, even if it shows how incompetent, unethical, and criminal they are. Get ready, folks, and call a big, fat fucking wambulance for Public Safety Director Scott Scrimizzi, the same person who thinks they know how things operate at the police department. Apparently, Public Safety Director Scrimizzi knows how to silence people with government retaliation because the threat worked and the content was removed. Don't just take my word for it. Here's an email from now Sheriff Riley in Warren County confirming he spoke to Mr. Scrimizzi about the issue but could not remember the exact content of the conversation. However, a reasonable, prudent person would realize the result of the conversation was content was taken down. That thin blue line is no bullshit, people. Also, Sheriff, it's never a good idea to tell a disabled person to get a job, man. Instead of being a stand-up guy and threatening me himself, this little cuck had someone do it for him, hoping this reporter would never find out. This reporter called Mr. Scrimizzi, who had called my previous employer, to disparage my character and have me threatened. This scumbag piece of shit was told if he wanted to threaten me, he could damn well do it himself, like someone with balls. I also left my phone number in the chance Mr. Scrimizzi wanted to call and make the threats to me himself like a man or apologize for his action. As of the time of this report, that pretend tough guy piece of dog shit has not contacted this reporter, while it's perfectly fine for the city to call and make threats to you if you hold them accountable for their actions and threats. You get served a letter by the City of Hamilton attorney. Here we have a letter from Frost, Brown, and Todd, the City of Hamilton's attorneys, claiming the following. Contacting your government in a legal manner, complying with all time, place, and manner regulations is considered harassment. However, what shit-stained Scrimizzi did by contacting the Warren County Sheriff's Office was not harassment. I was forbidden to contact any city employee who works for the City of Hamilton, as well as all city employees had been told not to contact this reporter. But wait, the Peter Puffers at Foss, Brown, and Todd's derivatives continue. All public information requests and communications must be made in writing and to Brian Harrison of the Hamilton, Ohio Law Director's Office. This lapdog from the Hamilton Law Director's Office must have got his law degree from Pol Pot University. This guy is a shining example of why all prosecuting attorneys go to hell. What Frost, Brown, and Todd must have failed to realize is you can't take someone's constitutional rights away without due process of law. Apparently, the only thing Hamilton hates more than a citizen who knows their rights is the Constitution that guarantees them and protects us from the government. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm no detective and never was one. However, I'm betting the Public Safety Director Scott Scrimizzi helped push this through. You see, I didn't do what Scott wanted, and he used his government position this time to sick the city attorney on this reporter instead of the Warren County Sheriff's Office. This fucking piece of shit must not even wipe his own ass. Scott must know everything. Except government retaliation for First Amendment protected activity is unconstitutional. But being a public safety director, why would the Constitution that keeps people safe from the government be important at all anyway? Maybe head of the Gestapo would be a better title. Now let's see how many city employees have violated this unrealistic, threatening letter from the city's attorney.
Here's the deal, okay? Your police officers have contacted me twice, okay? So here's all I'm saying to you. You want me to leave you guys the fuck alone? Leave me the fuck alone. Ain't gonna be no problem.
As you can see, it's okay for the city to violate its own threatening letter from its own attorney. However, if this reporter violates the same letter, he will be thrown underneath the Butler County Jail and sued for all he's worth. That's your city government, people. Rules for thee, but not for me. As you can see, folks, they try and dictate the rules to you, but then change them when they break them. Things like this really shouldn't be a surprise. Just ask the Indians about the government breaking its own rules, then changing them. It wasn't right then, and it's not right now in Hamilton, Ohio. Only this time, the government isn't coming to kick you off your land, at least not yet. They are coming to grab your right. There it is, people, the Hamilton, Ohio government. From the ground floor illegal traffic stop by Officer Crothers, to a cover-up by a dirty-ass lion lieutenant, followed by a chief who admitted to not forwarding a public service request which violated the law, ethics, police, and city policies, to the top floor with an unhinged, power-hungry tyrant of a public safety director and appointed city clerk who doesn't even know their job in city government. The city of Hamilton government agencies are dirtier than Pretty Penny the Pershing Avenue prostitute's panties. And believe me, folks, that's dirty and smells bad, too. But that's your city police force and your city elected government officials turning Hamilton, Ohio into a great socialist place to live, where your status in the community dictates just how much or how little the government is involved in your affairs. At least Pretty Penny would kiss you after she fucked you. The city of Hamilton won't even throw you a towel to clean up with. Until next time, Hamilton, remember these cocksuckers break every law they are supposed to enforce, but will hold you accountable for everything you do. The city of Hamilton, Ohio is being ruled over by the government instead of governing the government by the people.